Well, listen, I don't want to waste this time and not pick your brain because these athletes now they're coming out in a very interesting period of the market, right? Inflation is still high, although we see some numbers coming down, but it is still up there, right? I mean, a lot of people are still priced out of the housing market, and I know these guys probably won't be. Anything that you would advise them to do when looking at the market, saving their money right away, what would you advise them to do with that first paycheck after you splurge, after they buy the baby Benz, right? After they, pop the bottle, get the nice suit, right? And go. What would they do with that first paycheck when it comes to maybe having to save, pay off college tuition? Like, what would you do with it?
Yeah, I think the first thing to do is understand what you actually have. So everyone will see the headline, someone's contract is, $40 million, $10 million a year. What we say to the guys is, great, everyone thinks you have 10 million. You actually have 5
Mm-hmm.
million to spend over time, after taxes rather. And so if you were thinking I'm going to spend $1 million a year, well, if you have $10 million, that's 10%, that's one thing. But if you actually have $5 million to spend and you want to spend 1 million, that's 20%. That's very different. And so start with understanding what you actually have and creating a plan and a budget. Everybody hates the word budget, but some guidelines. And one of the things that's important to do is try to put it on paper. And one of the exercises we have with our clients is we'll illustrate, here's your line of wealth over time. And if you have a plan that's frugal and you spend at a certain dollar amount, but if you want to spend $1 million a year, your line is downward sloping and you're going to run
Yeah.
out of money at some point. And
Yeah.
so the first thing that they need to do is think about how they're going to build a diversified portfolio, to help them grow, because they do have very long investment horizons, but at the same time, protect an amount of their wealth that they can rely on for the unexpected.
Yeah. Derek White of the Boston Celtics, a very good friend of mine, covering him with the Spurs. One of the first things he did, paid off his college tuition. And I thought that was great because college tuition that's a monster bill, and he paid it off. He was smiling. I was like, damn, I wish I could do that too. But would you advise that as well? I mean, a lot of these players probably don't have that because they get scholarships, but there are some who will get drafted or maybe, sign free agent contracts as undrafted guys who, when they get that money, you would advise pay off that college tuition, get rid of that debt.
It really varies. It varies on the player, where they're drafted, expectations. Not all debt is bad debt. I mean,
Mm.
we just came through a period of time where you could get a mortgage for less than 3%. And so now it's twice that, at least, to get a
I know.
mortgage. And
I
so
missed it. I'm sad.
not, did you miss that opportunity?
I missed the opportunity. Yeah. I should have had you as my private wealth advisor. That's
I
why.
mean, come
Yeah.
on, where's your team?
Yeah. I
But
got to
not
put a
all
better
debt is
team
bad
around
debt.
me. Yeah.
You got to pick a better team.
Yeah.
You want to be mindful of the debt. And a conversation we always have is, should you rent for the first year or should you buy? For most people, renting makes sense because you don't know where you're going to be over time, but trying to figure out if you are going to have debt, making sure that it's a reasonable amount. And given the interest rate environment, how you want to structure that as part of your bigger plan. So it
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah. Well, listen, flashback right fast. You said 1990. That's what I'll go back to, that year. That's when you arrive at Hampton. You wanted to pursue accounting like your dad, right? But you ended up in economics. What was it like when you said, you know what, I'm going to try the economics route and not the accounting route? Like, what did you find that made you stick with it?
So my father was an accountant, as you said. I was able to earn a little extra cash by doing taxes for fellow students at Hampton. And then I worked at an accounting firm, one of
Wait,
those
you did
tax prep.
taxes in college for people?
It's so much easier than you think. It's so much easier than you think.
Damn!
But yeah,
Where were you at all my life? I needed a tax
it's
person
like
too.
1040 easy form. You can do it. I
Yeah.
promise you.
Yeah.
And
I
so
use
then I
TurboTax, but like
realized,
I said, I gotta get you.
there you go.
Yeah.
Um, But then I had my first finance course and my economics courses, and I thought, okay, the world fits together in this way. And I just felt as though the opportunity to have a more significant impact in helping people really protect what they've spent their life earning was really important to me. So I pivoted and went into the field of Wall Street and quickly found my way to private wealth management, which is where I've spent my career.
Yeah.
So it's been the one thing that I have thought is the most unique opportunity to do one of the things I'm passionate about, which is helping people in markets that I love being part of, and helping with strategies that not everybody has the insight or the proximity to. And so that's been how I have been focused on building a career and trying to add value to our client base.
Yeah. And so in college, you're doing these taxes for people, right? You're building your name on campus. You're a tax lady, and you graduate, and then you go over to J.P. Morgan as a summer intern, right? It was back in 1994. What did
That's
you
right.
learn
Yeah.
in that period before going to Goldman and being and excelling where you are now? What did you learn in that period as a summer intern that motivated you to keep going?
A bunch of things. One, I learned the power of teamwork. Two, I learned the value of learning from others around you to help inform a path. And lastly, it's the place where I saw that being an advisor was the clear path for me. And being in a place where you do have a high caliber of people working really hard. This was, many years ago. JP Morgan was, before many of the acquisitions that they've had, still a great company, of course. But it was, for me, the ability to turbocharge learning. And this industry is all about learning. The world changes every day. What matters in our clients' portfolios could be happening halfway across the world. And if we want to be good advisors, we need to know what's happening in China, what's happening with the supply chain, what's happening with oil prices. So being able to earn the trust of clients to help them navigate markets so that they can spend their time doing the things that they love to do is what I figured out while I was at JP Morgan. And that's what sent me to Columbia Business School on a path to becoming a private wealth advisor.
Absolutely.